Hello, my lovelies. Welcome to Assorted Sundries. Today's topic, the Rhesus Factor. What on earth is that? So, if you came here from yesterday, you know that this has to do with the fact that my husband watches Ancient Aliens. If you are not familiar with Ancient Aliens, you should be. It's kind of a hilarious show on, I think it's on the History Channel, although perhaps it should be on the Sci-Fi Channel. But it's all about ancient alien astronauts coming here to Earth and mucking about. And they love to pull like Bible passages and are like, see, it's aliens. Or do you see how all the stuff was built? Humans couldn't possibly have done that. Clearly, it's aliens. You see these hieroglyphics that look like spaceships? Aliens. It's always aliens. So, whether you believe it or not, that's entirely up to you. Sometimes they make very compelling arguments, and sometimes it's just unabashed silliness, but I do kind of have a crush on Giorgio Tsotopoulos because he has crazy hair and he's always wearing like a brown velvet jacket and vest, and I don't know, I just kind of really love Giorgio and his crazy self. But my husband watches it, or I should say usually on Fridays they have like 5 of them in a row, so my husband turns it on and then goes to sleep. So he watches Ancient Aliens. But it's just, I don't know, comforting to him. I have no idea. Any hoodles. Sometimes, I go to bed, it's still on, so I listen or watch a little bit of it as I fall to sleep. And I caught an episode about the Rhesus Factor. So what it is there are 4 basic blood types, A, B, and O. You are one of these blood types. Whether you are positive or negative, that is the Rhesus factor or the RH factor. And what this is it's the proteins in the blood on top of the blood cells that fight off infection and bacteria and stuff like that. 85% of the world's population is positive. They have an RH positive factor. 15% is RH negative. I am one of those 15% that is in fact RH negative, which means I do not have this factor in my blood. I am B negative, if anybody's curious. A fairly rare blood type. The only time you really have to worry about whether you are positive or negative goes with either receiving or donating blood, because positives and negatives don't really go along very well, or if you are a woman who is pregnant or is looking to get pregnant. For example, if my husband and I had children, I would have had a problem. I would have had to have gone and gotten an injection because I am negative and he is positive. So what would have happened if I had a baby? Now, usually the first pregnancy, there isn't really a lot of problems. But if I'd had a second pregnancy, there'd have been a major problem because my body, with its negative blood factor, would have fought to kill the baby with the positive blood factor. So you get an injection and then it does something with the antibodies in your system so that it will accept the baby and it won't attack the baby's system. Babies that are born of negative moms and positive dads, or positive moms, negative dads, that kind of thing, who did not get the injection, they usually suffer from anemia, sometimes mental retardation. There are like a whole list of different birth defects that can happen, or they're stillborn. The mother's body kills the baby. So it is important to know if you are in fact negative or positive and your spouse or sperm donor is negative or positive, so you know how things are going to work. Usually when you find out you're pregnant, it's one of the first things they test for, just, so they know. Um, yes. So that, as far as medically speaking, that is the only time you really have to worry about if you are Rh positive or negative. However, Ancient Aliens was super fun because they think that the folks with Rh negative blood, me included, are descended from aliens. The way they kind of go about it is that God, like all the gods and all of the different religions all across the world, they think are actually alien beings who came down, and then we humans worship them as gods, which would make sense if that happened. See, sometimes it's compelling. Uh, but apparently, those of us with the negative factor, our genetics were mucked about with by these alien race, whatever alien race this was, and we were made to be better than your standard human person. And of course, we were made better to be better slaves. So, what have you? I don't know. It's craziness. Any hoodles. So there is the possibility that I am half alien, or at least from alien blood. The other, if you are not into the ancient alien theory, the other theory is that I am in fact a descendant from a Nephilim. Now, this goes into more of the Christian sort of pantheon, the Christian mythos, although it is also in, I think, the Jewish mythos, perhaps even Islamic. I'm not positive. I'd have to do extra research. But angels, any religion that talks about angels. And the film is the result of an angel and a human having a baby. So half angel blood, half human blood. They are Nephilim. And I would be one because I'm negative. I'm guessing that angels are negative and then humans are positive, since 85% of the human population is in fact positive. So I'm either an alien or half angel. Ha ha ha. Which is funny. Scientifically speaking, scientists have no idea why 15% of the population has an Rh negative factor. They have no idea. They have done genetic research, of course, because we can do that now, and have realized that the Basque people in southern France and Spain have a very high instance of the Rh negative factor. It's something like 45%. So that's pretty potent, actually. But yeah, it appears to be some sort of like Northern European is where it started. And then, of course, it has branched out because even if you are an Rh positive, you may have an Rh negative gene that is recessive that you can pass on to your children. And then if they marry somebody else who also has the recessive genes pop up. So it's interesting anyways. And it's most interesting to me that scientists have no idea why. So, of course, that leads to free thinkers on the internet talking about aliens and Nephilim. But there are apparently some things that Rh negative folks have in common. So here's a list, and let's see how many of them I hit. Higher than average IQ. I do have a higher than average than IQ. I'm not trying to brag on myself, but my IQ is high. More sensitive vision and other senses. Now, I wear contacts, but I am very sensitive to light as far as my eyes go. My pupils will not shrink down enough, which is why I have a light sensitivity and usually have to wear sunglasses. I do think I have a very sensitive nose, especially once I quit smoking. That really helped, so maybe. Lower body temperature. That is true. The average body temperature you're supposed to be is 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, and mine runs at 97.7. So if I have a temperature of 98.6 degrees, then I actually have a fever. So I do have a lower body temperature. Higher blood pressure. This I do not have. I actually have extremely low blood pressure. So, okay, that I can't check that one off. Increased occurrence of psychic intuitive abilities. I get deja vu a lot, so maybe that's what that is. As far as intuitive, I like to think I can read a room pretty well, so maybe that is intuitive. I don't know. Predominantly blue, green, or hazel eyes. Now this one's kind of silly because it's like, so you've got brown left. Okay, whatever. But I do have like that, what do they call it? Glass. They're kind of blue, green, gray, sort of whatever. So red or reddish hair. I am strawberry blonde, so I do have that. Increased sensitivity to heat and sunlight. Yes, I do have a problem with sunlight, and I burn very quickly, even with sunscreen on, so that is true. I don't know about sensitivity to heat, though. I don't feel super sensitive about heat. Cannot be cloned. That's interesting. There will never be a clone of me because of my Rh negative factor. I actually think that's a good thing because cloning is weird, and I don't really think that's the right thing. Kind of any hoodles. And extra vertebrae. I don't know if I have extra vertebrae. Nobody's ever said anything, but I do believe I've only ever had an x-ray of my vertebrae twice. One to make sure that there was no damage, and then one before I had my surgery, but it wasn't really of my vertebrae. It was just to make sure that my lungs and my heart and everything was copacetic. So I don't know. I'm very tall. Maybe I do have an extra vertebrae. But I hit some of those. But I dare say that quite a few of you Rh positive people hit just as many of those. But yeah. So that was my that's our Assorted Sundries today. The bizarre weirdness of the Rhesus factor in our blood. I am Rh negative. I am probably an alien. Or maybe an angel. I'm probably going with alien though. Clearly. Are any of you fellow aliens? Are any of you negative? Did you have any problems when you guys had babies about being negative and your husband being positive? Or partner or sperm donor? I mean, I don't know your life. Maybe you picked out the father of your child. Yeah, have any of you guys ever had to deal with that? I'm sure at least one of you has. What do you think about this whole thing about the Rh negative factor? Do you find it kind of fascinating like I do? Why does only 15% of the population have a negative factor? I don't know. And science doesn't know. And I really count on science to explain things to me. So I don't know. Discuss. I thought this was fun and weird and different and what Assorted Sundries should be about, because these are the things I think about sometimes, people. I don't know. I'm a crazy lady. Before anybody asks what is going on with my hair, I have these beautifuls that were made for me by Lauren, and these were made by Siobhan. Yes, La Dolly Vita made these for me. But this is just a cinnamon. That's it. It's just over here. That's it. It's a cinnamon. Yay. Nothing fancy, but add some flowers. It sure looks fancy, doesn't it? All right. I'll let you guys go. Let's keep it under 15 minutes, and I will see you next week with our final heatless curling method. Woo! I still don't know what we're doing yet. I had an idea of doing something, but I don't think I can get the supplies for it, so we shall see. Any hoodles. Love you guys. Have a great weekend. I hope mine is great as well. Okay. Love you. Bye.